sometimes we wait until somebody says, hey, you need somebody to help you. Or, hey, how long are you going to be doing the same things over and over again and getting the same results? You get to be a certain age at a certain time where you're not raising your children anymore. You don't have your business or you're retired. And this is our time. I did need a coach in my life. I needed somebody to help me navigate through the different changes that I was going through. When did you start accepting this stuck feeling? Everything to live your best life ever, to be fearlessly authentic, is about living in our truth. You need to hire a coach when you feel stuck. Whoever woke up in the morning and said, I'm good being mediocre. I don't think it's the people that listen to this show at all. I know you guys aren't complacent with mediocrity. You want more out of life, and that's why you listen to this show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Fearlessly Authentic. I'm your host, Jody Harrison Bauer, and it is so good to be here and to help you get through the day. This show, if you are a first-time listener, welcome. This is the show where we educate you, empower you with that information, entertain you a little bit, and inspire you to live your most fearlessly authentic life. Because in my humble opinion, if we are not doing that every single day or attempting to do it every single day, what are we here for? And it has been my experience in the last 2 years, I would say, since I closed my studio in September of 2022, that I've had a lot of time to reflect on what I want to do with the rest of my life. What lights me up, what gives me joy, what kind of decisions are easy for me, as I spoke about it last week, intuition versus fear or ego. And when I closed my studio, it was time for me to move on from when I was doing it. And in looking back, I probably should have done it 2 years prior, but things happen for a reason. And so I really gave myself that grace to figure out, what is it that I love to do? What is my new purpose? How am I going to reinvent myself and say goodbye to Jody Fit, even though I'll always be Jody Fit, but to say goodbye. And it took a lot of courage to do that and step outside of my comfort zone of not being in a studio for the last 15 years and doing something completely different. And I thought I was going to do something completely different, but my heart and my gut and my head all told me that it's helping women get healthy and fit. And that is my passion, and that is my purpose. So think about today. What I want you to think about as you're listening to this podcast today is, what lights you up? What gives you joy? Are those things happening in your life? Are you doing the things that are bringing you joy and happiness and fulfilling your purpose? You wake up in the morning and you're excited to do what you're doing. I know that every job or every task that we have does become mundane at times. But for the most part, what are the things that are making you excited to get up in the morning and do those things? And for me, it's always it's always been about fitness and health, nutrition, motivating other women, supporting them, holding them accountable. And, when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about today, I've been in Miami now for about 10 days. And as I told you all last week, that was one of the things that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. And I stayed in Connecticut, obviously, because of my business. And another thing that I was thinking about in the last 2 years was, where do I want to live? Now, my husband's job is in Connecticut. And even though he's looked for other positions in Florida, they haven't been in the areas in Florida. I wanted to be in the Miami area. And it was then that I told him 2 weeks ago that I'm coming down here, and this is what I need to do for me. You get to be a certain age at a certain time where you're not raising your children anymore. You don't have your business or you're retired. And this is our time. At any age, you can do this, but especially for the women who are older like me, who are trying to figure out, well, what's next for me? And this doesn't just happen when you're my age or you're retiring. This could just be a different season, a different chapter in your life. It could be postpartum, it could be menopause, it could be postmenopause. But those are like the three big highlights in a woman's life when big changes occur. Obviously, when we go through puberty and we become women, that's a big change in our life and all the things that happen in our body and in our mind. And then the next thing that usually happens is pregnancy and getting pregnant, going through what it takes to have a baby, deciding if having a baby is the right thing for you. And you go through it, and then you decide, do I want another one? Do I want another one? Do I want another one? I think after each child, we do have that decision to make. We never know what motherhood is going to hold for us. And hopefully it will be a lot of joy and a lot of happiness and just joy, because that's what I've always felt. There are definitely the tough times in raising children, but overall, the joy of bringing a life that you and your significant other have created to bring into this world was a huge joy for me and their dad. And so you've got postpartum, and then you've got perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. So those are like 3, 4 times in your life where really they're marked by your hormones being completely screwed up, right? But they give us that entree into the next part of our life. And so whether you are pre-pregnancy, not pregnant, never want to have children, perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, and you're trying to figure out, okay, this is what's going on in my life right now. What do I want the next 5 years to look like? And sometimes we just don't know, or we take a leap of faith, which is what I did when I left Connecticut to come to Miami. I came here and just knew that I wanted to be someplace else other than staying in Connecticut. One of my daughters is here, and I have friends down here, and I just wanted a different way of living. I didn't want to go through another winter. During that process, the last 2 years, I did need a coach in my life. I needed somebody to help me navigate through the different changes that I was going through. And sometimes it was my therapist. Sometimes it was a business coach. Sometimes it was a life coach. But I needed all these different people in my life coming and going, staying. Sometimes I was working with all three of them to figure out what's next for me. Now, we always know what we want because, again, as I mentioned last week, our gut is our navigation system. It's what tells us what we need to do next. But sometimes we're too scared to follow the navigation system. Sometimes it wants to go this route, and you're like, that seems a little scary to go that route. I don't want to. I'm going to go the safer route. But your gut is telling you to take the harder route. And for years, I wanted to come to Florida, and I couldn't come because of my studio. And then after I closed the studio, I knew in my heart of hearts, there were no more excuses. It was the fear of leaving my friends in Connecticut, knowing that I would see them again. It was the fear of, how would I make friends down here? What would I do? I have my dog. Are people going to be afraid of my dog? Just starting anew in my 60s. And it takes me a while to make decisions, but my gut always tells me what it is that I need to do. And finally, after being here for 10 days by myself, that's when I went back home and I came down here with my dog, got in my car, drove here, and now I'm here. And I'm so happy that I did that. And for a lot of us, it does take us some time to figure out whether we're ready to take that big leap of faith on ourselves. So as I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about walking my dog and thinking I got to get a dog trainer for her because now I'm walking her all the time at home. I had a dog walker because quite honestly, I had grown so tired of walking her because she pulls, and I wasn't being consistent. I'm being truthful with you guys. I wasn't being consistent in the training for her. And it was just easier, even though I knew it wasn't wrong for my dog because she was getting out, she was getting 4 walks a day and she was going to daycare. So her life was great. But I knew that when I took her out on a leash on the other times that I walked her, that she needed obedience training. She needed to learn how to walk on a leash much better than she was walking on with me. And so coming down here, like it was a huge wake up call. And sometimes we wait until somebody says, hey, you need somebody to help you. Or, hey, how long are you going to be doing the same things over and over again and getting the same results? And that's what hit me about moving to Miami. I said, I don't have anything else holding my kids are all over the place, not all over the place, but they're in different states. My mom passed away in 2021. My sisters live in another state. So the only thing holding me here are my friends that I don't even see that often, and my husband, which obviously I live with. So as long as he was cool about it, because he works around the clock anyway, then I just needed to do it and take that leap of faith. And my coaches, my therapist, my coaches all helped me get to that point, and I'm very grateful for it. So when is it that we need a coach? I know that I need a coach for my dog. I like I said, I've been here for 10 days, 2 weeks, and after like 3 or 4 walks, I'm like, I need to find a dog trainer for her. And I kept putting it off and putting it off because I couldn't find anybody. And then today, actually, I was like, I'm going to be talking about on my show when we need a coach. So, Jody, you need a coach for Ava. You need to find a coach for your dog because it's not enjoyable to walk her anymore. So, one of the questions we need to ask ourselves when we're thinking about understanding the need for a coach, why do we need a coach? Most of the times, I'm going to tell you right now, I want you to ask yourself these questions why you might need a coach. Are you feeling stuck? Is there a lack of progress? Are you struggling with motivation or need specialized expertise? This is why women came to me. This is why I'm taking my dog to a dog trainer because I'm feeling stuck with her. There's no progress with her. I don't have any motivation. I mean, the easiest thing for me to do would be to give up and find a dog walker, but I need to be able to walk with her and I want it to be an enjoyable experience. So I need to find somebody who specializes in walking my dog and the issues that I'm having with her. So here are some questions I want to ask you for you to ask yourself. One of the things that I just mentioned to you, are you feeling stuck? Is there a lack of progress? Are you struggling with motivation or needing specialized expertise? Here it is, even bolder. What's not working for you in your life anymore? What's not working? Is it your job? Is it your relationship? Is it where you live? Is it more specifically things that I work on? Is it your health, fitness, wellness? What is it? What's not working for you anymore in your life? Are you doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results? That would be a good time to get a coach because if you're doing the same things over and over again and not getting different results, because if we do the same things over and over again and we're not getting different results, then it's time to make a change. And sometimes we don't know what that change is. And that's when we hire a health coach, an accountability coach, a life coach, maybe a therapist, somebody to get you from being stuck to moving past that stuck point. Because feeling stuck can be incredibly frustrating, unmotivating, depressing. And what happens when we feel stuck? When we feel stuck, we do nothing, and nothing happens, nothing changes if nothing changes. So, where do we go? How do we implement new changes in our life? How do we implement a new way of choosing how to eat, how to work out, how to move our body, how to set goals? We don't even know what our goals are sometimes, but all we know that our gut, our instincts are telling us something's not working for us anymore. And then I want you to think about this question. When did you start accepting this? When did you start accepting this stuck feeling? I know that you feel mediocre when you feel stuck because we all feel mediocre. We all tell ourselves these lies in our head that, like, I've got this, I could figure it out. But really, what you need is an expert in that field, somebody who's either gone through it or has helped other people go through the same transitions you're going through right now. And when I think about the transition to menopause, so many women feel stuck and struggle silently. Yet there are experts that are helping women every single day with hormone replacement therapy if they are a candidate for it, so they don't feel stuck, so they don't need to suffer, so they don't feel uncomfortable, so they don't feel that they're going crazy and out of their mind, that it's menopause, that it's their hormones that are fluctuating, that they need to replace those hormones. So you find an expert in your field when you are not making progress anymore. And when we come back from the break, I'm going to go through a bunch more questions for you to ask yourself to get unstuck and start moving along in your life, because this life that we're living is supposed to be fun and lived to the fullest. So we'll be back in a few minutes. We'll go through some more questions you can ask yourself, and I'm going to help you with the answers.
You are listening to Fearlessly Authentic with Jody Harrison Bauer. We'd love to hear from you with any questions or comments you may have. Send an email to info@jodyharrisonbauer.com. That's info@jodyharrisonbauer.com. Now, back to Fearlessly Authentic.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm so excited to do this episode with you because it's something that I know a lot of women struggle with, about when to reach out for help. As women, we like to be independent. We want to be strong, but also the incredible part of being a woman is that we're all so smart. We know when we need help. The difference is, do we trust our gut that says, find somebody to help you? Or do we continue to just do the same things over and over and live a mediocre life? I don't want you to live that mediocre life. I want you to live a superb life. I want you to live life to its fullest. And that is why I'm so passionate about talking about this. So the first question I wanted you to ask yourself was, are you stuck? What's not working for you in your life anymore? So I want you to speak it out loud. I want you to say it out loud. What's not working for you anymore? Is it your diet? Is it your exercise? Is it your job? Is it your relationship? Is it the place you live? What's not working for you? And voice that to yourself. Be really, really honest about what's not working for you anymore. And then when did you start accepting this in your life? When did you start accepting the fact that you are living a mediocre life? For me, living in Connecticut after closing the studio. Now, I did have my tummy tuck. I closed the studio in September. I had my tummy tuck in November. So I was recovering, and that was a lot of time that I needed for myself and not to pursue anything new. I knew I wasn't even anxious. You know, when you're not even anxious about what it is that's next, that's your body telling you, your mind and your body telling you to take a freaking break. And I knew. And I'm sure that if you listen to the show and you're working on yourself, if you're listening to the show, I know that you're looking to improve yourself, your life, your health and fitness. But do you ever have that time in your life where you just don't feel like doing anything right now and your mind and your body are telling you, chill? That's when we have to give ourselves grace and say, okay, okay. I'm going to try to stop hurrying up doing things, because when I hurry up and I do things, it never works out really, really well for me. And I did give myself that grace. I was exhausted from the chaos of everyday life, running to the studio, managing it, and so on and so forth, even though it gave me so much joy. But then it stopped, and that's when I closed it, and that it all worked out right. But I needed to just chill out from everything and figure out what it was that I really wanted to do next. So when you think to yourself, when did I first start accepting this? After you've given yourself some grace and you wake up and you're like, okay, I'm ready to do something again. What is it? Okay, I don't like the way I feel in my body anymore. So you do your research, you get curious, right? What can I do to feel better in my body? I know it has to do with exercise and it has to do with the way I eat. But so many women think that exercise is the answer, and it's not. And I don't want to go into the weeds with exactly what I do, because this show today is about me teaching you when you need a coach and where I can help you. So when you're stuck and you get curious because you've asked yourself, when did I start accepting this? And you're like, I don't know. I haven't felt good in my body in a long time. I haven't felt good in clothes. I haven't felt good about putting myself out there because I feel insecure. I don't feel confident because this is all about confidence. At the end of the day, the things that we do is to eventually help us become more confident. And the more confident we become about something, we can talk about it more and help more people. But eventually, everything to live your best life ever, to be fearlessly authentic, is about living in our truth and being confident to take those steps to overcome fears and to live in our truth, stand in our power, overcome fears, whatever they are, and live as our truest person. So let's talk more about when did I first start accepting this? So you get curious. Oh, okay, well, maybe I need to start exercising more. But over exercising, I'm going to lose muscle. I want to gain muscle because when I gain muscle, I'll have more energy. And when I have more energy, I'm going to feel like working out more. And then I'm going to gain muscle and I'm going to drop my body fat percentage and I'm going to have a healthier BMI. Ooh, but I thought if I just exercise enough, then I'm going to feel better in my body. Well, you will because you're going to get that dopamine hit of exercise and you are going to feel better because you're moving your body because you shouldn't be sedentary. So you go through all of this research. You get curious. What can I do? I don't know. This person says this. This person says that. I don't know who to follow. Oh, okay, I'll follow her. But I will tell you that when you're looking for a coach, because you finally realize, well, wait a minute, what I've been doing. So let's go back a second. Okay, so I'm going to start exercising more and maybe I'll pay more attention to my food because I read that that's really important, but you're still not getting anywhere. So you're like, screw it, I'll give up. And then you play this game with yourself back and forth. I'm telling you right now, that's when you need to hire a coach. You need to hire a coach when you feel stuck, when you decide that you're not going to accept this version of yourself anymore. Just like I had to decide that I'm not going to accept this version of walking with my dog anymore. And the women that have come to me in the past are women that wanted change and they were willing to work for it to get the change in their life because change doesn't come to us by not doing anything. Change comes to us when we're willing to make the effort. Change happens when we take action. Nothing happens if nothing changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So if you've tried to tweak your diet and you've tried to tweak your workouts and it's still not changing anything, that is when you call in the specialist. Like I'm calling in the specialist for a dog trainer because I don't have the expertise. And a lot of women, as smart as we are, feel like they have failed when they hire a trainer or an accountability coach or a business coach or a life coach, whatever that coach is, or a therapist. But actually, it's a sign of bravery and courage. You are facing the things that you don't know how to fix anymore. And that person can help you make the changes you need to make in order to move forward. My dog, I'm using her a lot today. My dog, Ava, when she knows that it's time to come back, she already knows the route. When she knows that we're going back home, she sits or she lies down on the ground and doesn't move. Now she's 62 pounds of muscle. I can pull her and I look like a complete asshole pulling her. Here I am, this 63-year-old woman pulling this 62-pound dog, pulling her, and she's not moving. But I do know that if I give her a treat, then something will happen. So action takes place when I change what I'm doing. Oh, give her a treat, she will come to me. Give her a treat, she will start walking. As soon as I stop giving her the treat, she stops walking. So you see where I'm going with this. The point is that change can only happen when you start making the changes in your life that you need. And we are not experts at everything. And that's when you need to hire somebody who will guide you. And in this case, when it comes to fitness and health and nutrition and wellness, I would be your expert. I have so many things I want to share with you. So I would be your expert to do that. But it could be if you're looking to find a new job, you would find a network to help you find a new job. If you were leaving a relationship, let's say you're married, you get a divorce attorney or a mediator of some sort to help you get through this because you are not an expert on divorce law. You are not an expert on finding jobs. You know how to get a job, but maybe now you don't know how to get a job. Moving to another state, moving to another country, you connect with other people because you're not an expert on moving to another country, moving to another state. You don't know what it's set up like. So you find an expert, a real estate agent, or somebody like that who can help you find the right place for you because you cannot be an expert in everything. The other question you need to ask yourself is, what is it that I really, really want? What is it that you want? Maybe you don't know. And that would be another reason to hire a coach. That's that feeling stuck feeling. And then living this very complacent, mediocre life when you know you want a lot more out of life than this mediocrity. Whoever woke up in the morning and said, you know, I'm good being mediocre. I don't think it's the people that listen to this show at all. I know you guys aren't complacent with mediocrity. I know you're not. You want more out of life, and that's why you listen to this show. So ask yourself, what is it that you really want? Do you want to move? Do you want to find a new job? Do you want to find a trainer for your dog so your walks are much more enjoyable? Do you want to get fit and healthy? Do you want to lose body fat? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to feel sexy in your body? Do you want to feel confident in your body? Do you want to feel amazing when you put on your clothes? Do you want to feel proud of working hard? Because nothing changes if nothing changes. So hire a coach if you don't know what to do. Ask your friends. But if you don't know what you really want, a coach will help you with that. A therapist will help you with that. If it's with nutrition, fitness, strength, wellness, I'm your girl. And this is not to promote me, but this is my show and you're listening to it for a reason. And I am the expert in that field with 35 years of experience under my belt. But I'm not an expert in training my dog. And I'm not an expert in helping somebody relocate to another place. And I'm not an expert on divorce law, for example. So again, go to the specialists. And then I want you to ask yourself, what is the next best step for me? What do I need to do next? Okay, so now I know what I really want is I want to get healthy. I want to feel sexy. I want to feel healthier in my body. So that's what I really want. I want to feel healthier. I want to feel fitter. I want to have more energy. So what do I do next? What's the next best step for me? Well, I don't know how to do it myself. So I need to find a coach. So that's when you can research people either on Instagram or Googling them. And that is when you've taken the action to start taking action. And how empowering is that? As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, in my mind, I mean, I've wanted to move to Florida when my daughter left for college in 2011. And then I started my business and I couldn't leave. And in the last 2 years, I kept ruminating over, I need to leave, I need to leave. I know this is where I want to be in the warmth. I want to be in this type of environment, but it was the fear that stopped me. I knew my gut told me it was time to leave, but it wasn't until, let's call it divine intervention, came into my life and I believed that I would be guided by a higher power. I know that's a lot of woo woo for you guys. You know that I'm not super woo woo, but I'm a little bit woo woo. And it truly is divine intervention if you believe in a higher power, which I do. So if you know what you want, then the next best steps are to find somebody to help you get there. And that is really what you need to ask yourself in addition to, I really want to get fit and healthy because I'm not seeing any results despite my effort. I'm confused how to hit these goals muscle building, weight loss. I'm struggling with motivation and consistency. I'm post-injury, postpartum, post-menopause, pre-pregnancy, getting older, and you're just unsure about what to do, to eat, to work out, to support your fitness goals. You might be emotionally eating or have an unhealthy relationship with food. There are specialists out there who can help you, people who specialize in emotional eating, creating sustainable and healthy goals in your life. Sometimes we set our goals way too high and we don't achieve them, and then we feel bad about ourselves. We fall off the horse, and then we don't want to get back up because it felt so difficult to fall off that horse that you fear falling off again. But if you had the right coach, you would be able to be supported emotionally to get back on that horse and have a better plan and a better program to reach your goals. The benefits of coaching are incredible. For me, what I've always helped my clients with is accountability and motivation. That's what a coach will provide for you. So if you know what you really want to get fit and healthy and you find a coach, then that coach is going to bring it to you. And that's what you're doing here. What do I really want? I want to feel fit and healthy. What's the next best step for me? To find a coach. So when we come back from the break, we're going to go over the benefits of coaches, having a coach in your life, and how to choose the right coach for you. We'll be back in a few minutes.
You are listening to Fearlessly Authentic with Jody Harrison Bauer. We'd love to hear from you with any questions or comments you may have. Send an email to info@jodyharrisonbauer.com. That's info@jodyharrisonbauer.com. Now, back to Fearlessly Authentic.
Welcome back, everybody. So I wanted to review the benefits of coaching. The biggest benefit that I know that I offer to my clients is accountability and motivation and inspiration. People come to me, women come to me because they're stuck, because they're unhappy with the way they feel in their body. They don't feel confident. They want to feel stronger. They want to have more energy. And they come to me thinking that, okay, Jody's going to train me and she's going to teach me how to eat, maybe. And well, teaching them how to eat is always what I want to do, but whether or not they do it is up to them. And the ones that listen to me get the best results. And I've always said that if you want to change your life, you will come and train with me because I'm really, really good at what I do. What my clients don't ever usually expect is the emotional support, because changing anything in your life, whether it's your mind, your body, where you live, a relationship, etc., it needs to be supported emotionally. And a lot of us women think that we can do these things alone. And a lot of women are reluctant to hire a coach because they feel embarrassed or they feel like they could do it on their own. But I'm going to speak to you ladies right now. If you've been trying to do this on your own, how's it going? Seriously, how's it going? Are you making progress? Do you feel emotionally supported by the program you're in, the group you're in, the coach you have? If you have a coach, a one-on-one coach, he or she, if they are a good coach, are going to be there for you almost 24/7, because that's what we do. And that's what a good coach does. And every time I've gone through a tough time in my life, some type of transitional period, I've always had somebody helping me get through it, because I know myself well enough to call myself out on my own shit and know when I need to be supported. And sometimes I go a little overboard with being supported. Sometimes I don't need that support. Sometimes I have to really just trust my gut. And usually my gut always tells me the right thing. But a good coach will be there for you. He or she will call you out on your shit when you're not doing your stuff that you need to do. For example, you have a meal plan, you have an exercise plan, and you're not following either one of them, and you're complaining that you're not getting anywhere, you're not making any progress. Well, that's on you. And I said that at the beginning of the show. You have to make the effort. Once you decide that I don't want to live this life anymore, what am I going to do next? What are the next steps? Oh, I'm going to hire a coach. What coach? Okay, I've gotten curious about what kind of coach I need. Oh, I'm going to choose this person. I'm going to tell you what you need to look for in a coach. You need to look for certifications, experience, and expertise relevant to your goals. For example, when I decided to compete in fitness shows, I drove 2.5, 3 hours to Boston every single Sunday from Connecticut to work with my coach. Now, could I have hired a trainer? I was already a trainer. Could I have hired another trainer to coach me on how to compete in fitness shows? Fuck no. No, because they wouldn't know. This woman was an expert in training women how to become fitness champions. So I went with the best. I met her. We talked about my goals. We talked about realistic goals, and I was in. And I was being held accountable by her, which meant that I needed to go to Boston every single Sunday to train with her. We didn't have any of this virtual stuff. We could have done it virtually. She did stuff virtually, but no, I needed to be in her presence to do it. Now, things are a little bit different. A lot of people do things virtually, and the world's changed since 2006. But my point was, I was already fit. I didn't need to learn how to get fitter, but I did need to learn how to train and how to eat differently based on the specific goal that I had, which was to compete in fitness shows and become a champion, which I did 2 times, world champions at 49. And she helped me get there. I believed in her. I wanted to change. She was an expert. I did my research. She was an expert. Communication style and approaches that align with your personality. Now that's a big one, okay? The communication is key with your coach. I will tell you, for those of you who are thinking about coaching with me, you can tell by my personality, I am very nurturing, but I'm also very tough. It's the way I've raised my daughters. It's the way I do everything. I'm tough, but nurturing. If somebody needs to be coddled, I'm probably not for you. And if you're that person who is never going to show up prepared or do the work when we're not working together, then I'm not your coach because I'm way too tough. And if you came to me for accountability, God damn it, I'm going to hold you accountable. And if you don't like to be held accountable and you just like to be coddled, I'm not your girl. So find somebody else who can do that for you. So communication is very, very important. Do I change my tone with every single one of my clients? Yes, because every single one of those women are different. But the end result of working with me is that you are going to be somebody who doesn't have time for BS, who's not going to beat around the bush, who's not going to give you a lot of information you don't need, and is going to give you very, very thoughtful and straightforward information you need based on the goals that we've discussed. Obviously, when you're looking for a coach, you're going to also look for testimonials and reviews and client success stories as well. So when I had my studio, my brick and mortar studio, it was all word of mouth. I never advertised. I never did any of those things. It was word of mouth. I'm a great coach. I got my clients results. More women came, more women came. The difference was the ones that listened to me got the results. The ones who didn't listen to me either stopped coming because they didn't want to be held accountable. So you really need to ask yourself, are you ready to be held accountable? Because a very good coach is going to hold you accountable based on the goals that you have discussed. Questions that you can ask your coach, their experience, and clients like you. So I trained women who were in their 20s and women who were all the way into their 70s. My approach with each woman was a little bit different based on where they were in their life. Now, because I know what it was like to be in my 20s, I know what it was like to be in my 30s and have children. I know what it's like to have gone through 2 miscarriages, divorce, dating in my 40s. menopause, postmenopause, owning a business. So there were a lot of things that my clients and I aligned on, could talk about. I remember I had this woman who came to train with me, and she didn't want to listen to anything I told her to do. She didn't want to tell me, she just said, just help me feel better, help me lose weight. Okay, well, everybody comes to me to lose weight. She didn't listen to one thing I told her to do. She half-assed the workouts and she made excuses for everything. At that time, I was offering 30-minute workouts and 1 hour workouts. She was a 30-minute workout person. Great, that's fine. She would show up 15 minutes late. That's when you know that that person is not ready to really be held accountable. What can you do as a coach? You can sit down with that client and reassess the goals that you've created and see if this is still a good match. Eventually, she just stopped coming to me, which was fine. She didn't want to put in the work, and I was holding her accountable, and she didn't like that. So it's important when you're looking for a coach to find somebody who has experience working with people like you, with women like you, your age group. If you're in your 60s and you want to train with a 25-year-old or a 22-year-old guy that just got out of college and has no experience working with postmenopausal women, you might think he's hot, but he's not going to be the best trainer for you. And you want to make sure, most importantly, when you're training with somebody, that you are safe. You also want to make sure that you agree on your goals in creating the plan and to reach your goals. Now, I have something very, very exciting to share with you. I have a new plan that I'm going to be throwing out to all of you, and it's in my notebook here as I'm looking through here. And it's going to be called Five to Thrive. I'm so excited because I had my hot and healthy in the spring, and I wanted to offer a bunch of programs for my ladies listening to the show to come on and work with me. And it's going to be called Five to Thrive. That's 5 women, only 5 women. So the spots are going to be taken up really fast. 5 women, 5 weeks to thrive. Transform your body and your brain to a healthier version of you. We will have our own one-on-one. We will have goal setting, accountability. You will have workouts for the 5 weeks. You will have nutrition for the 5 weeks. So we will meet as a group, the 5 of us. So they will hold you accountable. And then you'll meet with me for 30 minutes once a week also to discuss your goals. I am so excited to share this with you. It starts October 1st. More to come. DM me at Jody Harrison Bauer so I can send you the information. You are the first ones to learn about this. I am just so, so excited. I have missed working out with my ladies. The workouts are going to be killer. The nutrition's going to be killer. You'll also get my free meal plan, Eat to Feel Younger. And everything is going to be specifically created for you. And I'm going to take you through my exclusive process that I've been working with and done for the last 35 years. Training with me is like training with no other person. As I said, I am tough, but I have a heart of gold, and it's very, very big. And all I want for you is to succeed. So DM me at Jody Harrison Bauer, and I will get back to you with all the deets. Remember, it's only 5 women. It starts October 1st. The first 5 women that sign up get this. 5 women, 5 weeks. I can't wait to go through this whole experience with you. And if you have any other questions about coaching, I think I went through a lot of them for you. It's very important to recognize when you are stuck, when you're struggling, when you're not making progress, to call in a coach to help you, and making sure that that coach is the right person for you, because not all coaches are right for you. Make sure they have experience working with women like you and the goals that you have. Thank you so much for listening today. And until next week, go be fearlessly authentic. Bye-bye, everyone.